Hello, my name is Sovann, and my project was about computers, internal processor temperatures, and pi calculations. So some background to my experiment. When computers run, they require voltage, and that voltage generates heat. So when that computer is being used over time, say continuously, that heat could build up. And sometimes that heat builds up to, well, dangerous temperatures. And those dangerous temperatures could damage or corrupt parts of your computer, and that requires repair or often replacement. Something I've noticed as a DuPont manual student was that although we had the ability to just simply replace computers when something happens, we would have significant issues with it because we have a lot of computer using or computer based courses. And so that often means that the computer is being used for the entire class period by one student. It's passed on to another student who uses it, and then passed on to another student. And that happens practically every school day. So what if something did happen? And that was the purpose of my experiment. So my experiment was to figure out if school-provided computers are self-sufficiently cooling based on their fan systems. And the hypothesis of my experiment was if the amount of digits of pi calculated, the heat rates would increase. But why pi? Couldn't I have done something else to calculate? Well, the reason why I chose pi was because overclocking, which originated in the 1970s and 1980s, was often used to improve performance of a computer without having to buy or replace a new one. So what people did was they pushed their computers faster using their CPU's clock, hence the name overclocking, which was when they would push it faster for their performance, which created more voltage needed because it's running faster, but that also meant more heat. One of the most popular overclocking programs was Y Cruncher, created by Alexander J. Yee, and it uses pi as one of its most go-to sort of calculation. So that's why I chose it. So for my experiment, I had 25 computers, 10 from the special computer lab, the Honeycomb, and the other 15 from my AP Computer Science Principles Teachers lab. So what I did was that I ran 3 tests, 25 million digits, 50 million digits, and 100 million digits. So in each of them, they were all meant to simulate a certain amount of work done. 25 was your idle, 50 was your normal work sessions, and 100 was for extremely heavy uses, such as when you're using it a lot during those computer classes or when you're playing computer games. Each test was given 5 minutes in between, so for the computer to sufficiently cool down, and temperatures for each computer was calculated by an Intensity 774 infrared thermometer every 10 seconds from the start. After the rates were calculated, I performed my t-test, and based on the 5%, it was plausible, and my hypothesis was accepted. Which meant that with the more digits, which meant the more work, the heat would rise faster. But I also noticed during my experiment, a lot of the second 15 from my teacher's computers often showed negative rates, which meant that the computer at the end was cooler than it was at the start, which meant that those systems must be either really, really well at their cooling, or it's just because how new it was, since it was one of the latest Intel models called the ProDesk. Ways to improve my experiment include what the types of processors versus Intel versus Apple, or the type of cooling system used within the computer, such as fans or water cooling, which is often stronger. That's my project. Thank you.